All right, so Marcello, Marcello De Sousa. I'm gonna guess that's how you say his name. What do you mean, Andrew? Sorry, little interruption. Where is the channel from the portfolio? So general progression as an environment artist portfolio presentation. Is it okay to keep old work to show progression? If not, what should be removed? Lastly, any tips on how to grow more overall, but mostly get better at weaknesses or flaws that you can see? Okay, so right now there's quite a bit of variety. Oh, this one immediately made me want to click on it. Cool. Okay, so it is okay to keep old work. But I think what you would want to do is you take old work and you either put it on a blog through Artstation if you're paying for Pro. If you don't have Pro, then I would put it on like a Tumblr or your own blog. And actually, if we look at Notion, because Notion's where I'm doing where I'm tracking a bunch of stuff for you guys, there is a blog format. Like you can make blogs out of this as well. But yeah. So I would take old work and either put on a blog or maybe make like a single tile at the end that says work archive, or you can just leave it here. If you feel like it's taking away from the overall quality of your portfolio, yeah, I mean maybe I would just put it on a blog. It's going to be easier that way. Less confusion for people viewing it that are wanting to hire you. We'll have less questions probably. Um, you have some substance materials in here that are okay. Like I think where you're suffering on this one looks like the roughness. The tile, like the stones or tiles themselves aren't offset enough, so it's very like grid-like. Yeah, definitely roughness is probably the biggest weakness in this material. If we look at this one, Quixel Muddy Ground. So this one's interesting because like I kind of debate like this is older, right? This is 3 years. So I think if it's quite a bit older, then definitely put it on a blog. Because 3 years ago, making this muddy texture material with Quixel, you're just blending between two materials, right? And then I guess two different ones here. Like this one, you've literally just swapped the stone out for the grass, I think. And then this one looks like it's more wet. When a material becomes wet, it's going to become more saturated as well, so watch out for that. It's the porosity of materials. The more porous the material is, the easier it absorbs water or liquids, but primarily water is what we usually look at when we measure porosity. So if it's really porous, it absorbs a lot of water, and when it does that, it lowers in value visually, so it becomes darker, and when it's lowering in value like that, it also becomes more saturated. The less porous it is, the less it absorbs liquids, and the less it changes color. So some more basic ways to look at it is mud or dirt. Dry dirt would be about this color, and when it becomes mud or wet, it becomes darker, more saturated, right? And the composition just kind of changes a little bit on the roughness of it as well. You could argue that you could simulate a little bit better of a look with that wetness by slightly blurring or softening the normal values. So if there's like really noisy normals like in here, taking those and kind of softening them out kind of aids in helping you look at the material as wet or muddy. And then on the other end of it, things like marble or glass. Like if you look at marble, marble's not going to absorb water really at all. So if you spill like a glass of water on top of it, marble is completely unchanged in its value and saturation, and only the roughness shifts. But it's only where the water is, right? Because the water is the thing that's modifying the roughness, or replacing the marble's roughness, if you want to say it like that. Now, where it gets really interesting with porosity maps, while we're on it, is things like roads or poured concrete with little rocks and pebbles and stuff in it. You'll see when a sidewalk has like little rocks and stones and concrete all mixed together, and it's dry. It's pretty chalky looking usually, or it's like a dark, dry chalk look. But when it becomes wet, you actually get some really interesting behaviors because each of those materials has different levels of porosity. So you'll see some stones become more saturated while others maintain the value and saturation that they had before becoming wet. So keep that in mind. It's probably how you would author a porosity map if you wanted to like simulate a scene becoming wet over time. Let's see what else we got here. This stuff's pretty cool. This is steady. In general, this is pretty cool looking. I would even just take this hand into ZBrush and just turn it into stone. Like chip up the edge, decimate it down, and just auto tile some materials on top of it. Because it's, I mean, the focus is the foliage, right? Maybe if you got rid of the ground plane and then the background, or maybe the ground plane just becomes to the horizon. Because it's weird to see these two differences. I think it's more of a presentation thing, I think. Oh, yeah. So, Andrew, sorry. You were asking about a channel for portfolios. So, people apply on the on Notion. So, if you go to the Empire command, which I think if I do like that, you go to that link. And then Portfolio Depot, you click on that, and then you'll see, or no, not Portfolio Depot, Portfolio Review. There's a form here. Right now the form is closed because there's a lot of people I need to get through, and I want to make sure that I get to all of them before I start taking on more people, and they have to wait forever. But yeah, it'll be here. And then when your portfolio is uploaded, it'll be here, and it'll say it's been streamed as well. So expect this to keep getting updated. Yeah, let's keep looking at your stuff here. So I think overall presentation, everything's pretty strong. This one looks really cool. Oh yeah, you took Huxley's, Jeremy Huxley's mentorship. And Joshua Williams for the lighting stuff. Oh, dude, awesome. Yeah, you learn a lot from those two. This is great. So this looks like it's more of it's less of a scene, I think, and more of a demonstration of your foliage creation. This kind of leads towards stuff, but it doesn't really feel like there's a path other than it's open. If there was maybe either some footprints or you can tell that it's been walked quite a bit in the past, that'd be pretty cool. This actually reminds me of the Lord of the Rings game I worked on a long time ago. War in the North. When you're heading into Mirkwood, there's a moment where you're going into a cave, and it's kind of has that feel too. A lot less spider webs in your scene. Anyways, this is pretty cool. I like how the train track is guiding you as well. Have you missed your turn? Wait, what? After this portfolio, I'm going to look into that Arnav. But this is looking good. Oh, I see. Arnav, I see what you're talking about. I will get back to you in a minute. Nice presentation with this. Showing workflow and stuff like that is also really nice. Oh, wow. That's hardcore, man. So this is really cool that you're showing all of the breakdown of this. Nice. I don't think I've ever seen. So it's odd that this is camouflaged here. Oh, that's cool. Man, lots of props here. So I think again, I think roughness is where your weakness is currently. Like getting a distinguishing the difference between the face of this and this plastic versus this rubber. And like screws, those are all going to have different roughnesses, right? Or roughness values. And then like the screws are probably going to have a metallic on for them. These sticks are quite uniformly thick, so there's that kind of like pulls at the believability strings a little bit. Oh, this is cool. Oh, nice. Variety. This is pretty well done. Maybe the pattern is not tiling enough, but I mean, it looks cool, so there's that. Man, there's a lot of stuff in here. So this one feels very odd to me. Like, that one feels like you just put that on there just for the sake of having a fourth version. Man, there's a lot of images in here. Oh, look at all those trailers. So this one's cool, and the addition of these like support beams going across is really interesting. I think material without material blending, with material blending. It's actually really subtle, I think. But the adding smaller rocks and stuff along the edge here, I think would really help with that transition. Oh, this is really interesting. Oh man, that kind of freaks me out. Like, I can imagine like a creature leaping in from the darkness onto the platform, and then you have to deal with them. Wow, this is a really big. It's a really big scene. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I see the blending now. Yeah, I still think some smaller rocks would really help, like, drawing everything together. I don't know if you need to be showing the material with and without material blending too much. You probably could show, like, 1 or 2 GIFs of it being with, like, a slider turning it on and off. Man, this one's cool, though. I will watch this. So when you have a little spark like that, you might want to have like a little hit of light. Like you have a little bit of light going on there, but like where it's emitting from, probably be better to emit from there. So I wanted to come back to this really quickly just to talk about this graffiti feeling like it's placed. It feels more like an art choice than like a. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe they did that because it's like them putting their own artwork up via graffiti. It just feels very placed, and it's quite low based on like where the couch is. I think some more material breakup on the ground to just kind of connect everything that's touching it. Like the stairs have been there this whole time, right? So like it's very strange how clean the transition is from the stairs to the floor. How clean that is. From this view, it looks pretty good. I think maybe either some stains or some like stuff that's spilled or something horrible that's happened down here prior and then has been cleaned up. The ceiling looks kind of difficult to stay together. I think having some cross beams supporting the pieces being laid on top of it would be more believable. Huh. That's pretty good though. Oh yeah, that's a serious puddle. You see how it goes under this? Like it just feels like this is placed on top of it. So like trying to make sure that those are grounded and attached together is going to help. Oh, interesting. A gun, like a weapons case. And that washing machine. Wash my clothes in there. Jeez. pretty dirty. Oh, nice. So this material is intriguing to me. I'm not sure what, like, it looks. Okay, so it is wood. It's wood, but there's some weird rusting going on it. And then having the handles the same as these ones, but offset to, like, because it's a swing open. Velo, thank you for the follow. Maybe they need to be up and down just so it's more of like opening it, right? Instead of pulling on it. But yeah, I mean, overall, your assets are like, this one's pretty good, roughness wise. I think this one's singing well. Okay, let me look at this one real quick here. Man, so the roughness is really, really interesting here. There's a lot of stuff happening. Whoa, screw that. I'm not going in there. Oh no, are we going in there? Okay, no, we're not. That's good. That is good. Okay, so in general, I think your portfolio is pretty strong. The primary weaknesses are roughness, and then having like a clean, like this one's super strong. I really like this scene. I think populating it with like a second layer of like medium props is going to be key. Even like wires and cables and stuff kind of running around on, like you have some up here, but maybe like one or two that are down here. Presentation wise, talked about material blending and how you probably only need to show that once or twice. And then like this material, like by doing this, I think it would be better if it was this ground. Like if you just had, if you used it instead of just showing it like this. Yeah, let me look at this one really quick. So this one just looks, this one looks pretty rough, I think, as far as resolution goes. It just looks like it needs more geometry to sell the shape that it is. Interesting damages though. It just needs, maybe those cracks are too dark. I don't know. Like if the AO is maybe a little too strong. But I think more geometry would probably help in solidifying the detail. And then it looks like it's quite low res in the material, or in the albedo maybe even. So like taking that information and using like a detail normal to push that instead of putting it in the 0 to 1 bake. Because I think that's what it's suffering from, is everything is kind of baked down into a 0 to 1. You could just bake your normal and your AO in the 0 to 1 and then tile all the other materials and use mask to portray where the greenery happens and where cracks happen, and I think you'll get a better visual look. But yeah, okay, hopefully that was helpful. I'll be right back, and then Arnov, I'm going to talk to you. I'll be right back.